Hi guys, I'm Kartik. Welcome to Cinema Express. Today we have Pan Nalin with us, who is the director of Chhello show or the last film show, which is India's official entry for the Oscars. Hi Nalin, how are you doing?
Hi, thank you. Great. Thank you for having me.
Before we start off with anything, Nalin, I want to ask you. I've always seen you wear black at every event, everywhere. Like, is it a favorite color, or is there something else related to it?
No, nothing. No. Favorite color. Yeah, it's easy.
Yeah, that's what, because Mark Zuckerberg once said that he picks up gray shirt every morning because it like saves a lot of time. Does it save a lot
Exactly.
of time for
For
you?
me, yeah, because
Yeah,
I love so much colors and I can never pick them
yeah,
up. So I said, okay, let's go for black.
yeah. Because your film is filled with colors and you wear mostly
Exactly.
black.
Yes.
Okay, so I saw Cello show last night, and I want to tell you this. It was such a nice, it was such a personal experience for me because I have grown up around like trains, and as a kid, I've grown up around trains, and people like kids making creative, like doing something creative stuff, building up something,
Right.
finding rags and everything. I want to like before the Oscar, the announcement happened, did you have any inkling of an idea ki, your film is going to be selected? Did you have anything? Did you know anything about it?
Not really, but I mean, my producer Dheer Mamaya believed in it that we should be selected. But
Yeah.
when I made my first film Samsara, it was in Ladakhi language. It was
Yes.
acquired by Harvey Weinstein,
Yeah.
Miramax, and that time we also tried to request Indian
Yeah.
government to send the film. But people say like, "What
Yes.
is Samsara?" Never heard of it. But since last January or so, our when US distributor
Yeah.
Samuel Goldwyn Films,
Yes.
his
Yeah.
grandson Peter Goldwyn, when he acquired the movie, he was one of the first person to say that, apparently it's in one of the trade newspaper. He said that, look, I'm buying this film because I hope India sends this because for me, this is a serious contender,
Yeah.
in international feature category. That was almost a year ago.
Yeah.
So when we were just, finishing the film, and similar, his opinion was echoed by our sales agent, Orange Studio,
Yeah.
and they also, sort of gave out a statement. And I knew that they both have some experience in dealing with international feature. Orange Studio had the artist, the father, the Samuel Goldwyn. This year they had Lunana from Bhutan.
Yeah.
A year before they won Best International Feature for another round, which was from Denmark.
Yeah.
So I thought,
Yeah.
okay, maybe, but I was much more happier that I have distributor rather than they talking about Oscar entry or any such thing, because all these are very prestigious
Yeah.
distributors. They are pretty big in their country, whether it's Shochiku in Japan or Medusa in Italy or and Samuel Goldwyn. And when they told me that, oh, we are such an old studio, I just realized this is the first time ever I'm buying an Indian movie.
Yeah.
So that also meant something. So I, when we associated with Sid Roy Kapoor
Yeah.
Films,
Yeah.
and we just started preparing the release, 14th October. And our strategy was very simple, that because it's a celebration of light, let's try to release around Festival of Light like
Yes.
Diwali.
Diwali. Yeah.
Yeah. So since few months we've been showing the movie way before the announcement came. We had a lot of private screening. We had screening in Ahmedabad, Pondicherry, Chennai. We just say, group of people, audiences, and say like just come and watch the film so they can build the buzz by the time the release approaches on 14th of October.
Yeah.
So we had dozens of shows, and many in Mumbai.
So
And
when
this was
Ashutosh
surprise.
Gowarkar also saw the film, yeah, because I'm
Yes,
asking, Ashutosh Gowarkar also saw the film, and he said, build your like make your suits and everything. Did it
exactly.
strengthen you? Like, did you think then, ki, oh, maybe there is a shot, okay,
Yeah.
because
So,
his
so
film
when
Lagan was the
yes, exactly. So when Dheer screened movies some 5, 6 months ago, it's the first thing he said. He got onto the call with me and he told Dheer, "Tuxedo banao, aap ja rahe ho." So we said, you have, and coming from him who had an
yes,
experience and holding the memory of the last film being there, we still laughed it off. I mean, at least
yeah,
I said, okay,
yeah,
okay, it's fine. Let not those things get into my head.
yeah,
Let's prepare the release. Let's bring it to the audience. So my thing was always how to bring movie to the people. And in between, when the release, this news broke, of course, it was a huge importance for my entire team, cast and crew. We were thrilled beyond words. Yeah.
So, like when the announcement came and everything, there were a lot of allegations against the film. Like Ashok Pandit, who is the president of Indian Film and Television Directors Association, he said that the film was selected last, like it was in the race last year too, and a film can't be in the race for like 2 times in a row. Okay, is that true? I want to ask the process to you. Is that true that the film can't be in a race for 2 times or something? Is it something like that?
It's a complete, I don't want to answer any of this question because it's all there on internet. You
Yeah,
can go to the Academy guideline and
yeah,
see what are the guideline. You can go to Film Federation India guideline and
yeah,
you can see Academy has gone through a lot of changes in last 2 3 years because of the pandemic, because of the war in Ukraine. So they
yeah,
had passed, they had made a open circular worldwide that
yeah,
any movie could not release in 2021,
yeah,
it is released
yeah,
theatrically before the January 30th, 2022 is eligible to apply. you
yeah,
know so any movie, and
yeah,
it's not only us, it was any of the movies, because there were many movies and we had only last year 3 weeks to release our movie, 3 weeks of December. Cinema halls were still
yeah,
start Omicron, and even when cinema halls started opening, for us, we were not getting the shows we wanted.
yeah,
So we said we will wait, because our Spanish distributor in March got very excited to start the Spanish and German release, because cinemas were opening there and people were coming back. So we did that 11-week run in Spain. Then we went to Germany.
yeah,
So even first time ever the Academy allowed.
yeah,
Normally the Academy would say that you must release film for one consecutive week in your own country. This
yeah.
year they say you could even release anywhere in the world.
Yes, yes,
So that was our first qualification. Second
yeah,
qualification, that if you release before 30th of November 2022, that's our
yeah,
second qualification. We are releasing in 2 days from now. So I don't know about the allegation. I have
yeah,
not read. I was trying to stay away because
yeah,
there's a lot of there was a lot of backlash,
yeah,
a lot of things. But we know that what we have done is a complete
yeah,
procedure. And it's a and come on, I'm the Academy member. I
yeah,
cannot,
yeah,
so it's the last thing I
yeah,
want to do is,
yes,
and is like disobey any rule,
yeah,
and
yes.
we were not even sure, and also it's also disrespecting those
Yeah.
17 jury
No, no, yeah, yes, sure.
Film Federation of
Yeah,
India who been,
yeah.
who have done, who
And
stood
it
by
was a
the film.
unanimous selection. It was a unanimous
You know,
selection also. Yeah,
Yes,
yeah,
and they gave out their statement. It's not that, and collectively they have won, I think, dozens of national awards, those jury members.
yeah, yes,
And
yeah,
and the procedure is very long. Even
yeah,
FFI does, every paperwork is checked. They check the producer credits. What are being done. And so this thing was a little bit hurtful because we have so many young people. My
yeah,
7 cast are young non-actors. My entire team of made up of under 30 producers, from Maharashtra. Our sound record
yes,
is from
yes,
Kerala, our cinematographer from Maharashtra, and
yeah,
our first
yeah, yeah.
assistant director from Himachal Pradesh. In a way, it's such an Indian film.
Yeah, and
So
they
we
were
were
claiming that
so
it's a foreign
saddened at
film and all
this.
of that. And like you have
Yes,
said, yeah, yeah, you have said multiple times that like all of these people are from like the country. No,
yeah,
you're right.
exactly. I mean, if
Yeah.
you go on IMDb, we have
Yes.
IMDb
Yeah, yeah, I've gone. I've
sources
seen. Yeah, yeah.
available.
Yes.
So I
Yeah.
felt that the Academy has a online, anybody can access the rule. FFI has online, anybody
Yeah.
can access. FFI circulars went out to every producer. So IMDb has the credit who worked on the film.
Yeah.
And we do have a French co-production, but it's done again by IMB Ministry
Yes.
approved
Yeah.
treaty, in which majorities are Indian and minority French person. This is a way for Indian government has made the treaty, and we have official papers.
Yes.
So anyway, that again is online. You can
Yeah.
just go into IMP ministry and look at all the treaties which
Yeah.
exist with every country around the world. And many times filmmakers don't use them. But
Yeah.
I the kind of cinema I do, I have used this treaty. Even in the past, I've used it. It's not the first time.
Yes. So I want to know, like, I saw the film and it's like you have said it's based on your childhood in Kathiawad. Yeah, how you discovered the joys of cinema. I want to know how true is, like, where does like the your fiction, like where does the reality end and fiction begin in the film? Like how true is it? Like is it entirely true, or like were there some portions that were like fictionalized? How
Of
was it?
course, yeah, of course, there's a little bit things fictionalized. But if I take my childhood friend, who was a
Yeah,
projectionist, much older than me, it's like two
yeah.
stories together. Everything as a kid
Okay.
is inspired from my own story. And
Hmm.
later part, when we get into climax, I won't reveal it, was much
Yeah,
more
yeah,
kind of a, it was a
yeah.
his India went big time digital,
Yes,
projector operators were unemployed because they couldn't run digital projector, and all of those projectors and film prints were trashed, as a
yeah.
scrap. So that was a lot of heartbreaking story for many of those
Yes.
people who literally grew up in projection room. My friend had grew up and he used to help his father, who used to be also projectionist at age of 14. Then he took over his job, and suddenly in no time they were, he and his
Yeah.
friends and colleagues in neighboring towns all. So there was a segment of inspired from there, and not only it's inspired from most of the incident from my own childhood, it's also I ended up shooting there. You see
Yes.
the
Yes.
school I went to, you even see
Yeah.
the cinema where I saw my first movie.
Yeah.
It's in the movie.
Yes. Jai
So
Mahakali.
it wasn't.
Yeah.
It was not called Galaxy.
Yeah.
So for example, I changed the name, so that's the fictional part. But that cinema hall was shut for nearly 20-25 years, and it was being used to store sugarcane and stuff
Yeah.
like that. So we emptied it and we completely refurbished it to shoot the movie. You also see a lot of things belonging to my father, like the tiffin.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
That's actually two tiffin,
Oh.
they saved in the family.
Yeah.
And one of the most element among Gujaratis and Kathiawadi is that my father at the tea stall used to keep the
Yeah.
galla,
Yeah.
cash
Yeah. Yeah.
galla,
Yeah. Yes.
money box. So he, even when he got rid of other things, he never gave the galla
Gala.
because he said whatever we are today is a reminder that this is where the money used to go and we ran our family. So he
Yeah.
had saved it, with one photo of Lakshmi inside, and that's the one you see in the film. I used it. I put the same
Yeah.
one, so it's that close to my story. And I'm the only one who's nomad in the family. My sister still lives there. My
Yeah.
family is still there. Yeah.
So your first film, and I was like reading some of your interviews. Your first film was Jai Mahakali. Okay, and
Yeah.
there was this incident, like when you went for the film and everything. I think, I don't, if like correct me if I'm wrong. You saw the film and you hid beneath the, because you were so afraid of this vision of Kali.
Yes.
I want to know. I want to know more about that. Like, how was the experience of watching the first film? The excitement you went there as a
I mean,
child.
yeah, as a child, I have a good memory of it because luckily I saw first movie much later.
Yeah.
The very first I might not recollect. I must have been 3 or 4.
Yeah.
So my first movie was 8 or 9 year old,
Okay.
and it was Jai Mahakali, and and I was just mesmerized, just the whole experience, the way we went inside the cinema hall. I had never seen such thick
Yeah.
black curtain, and then the way the darkness came, and I remember there were
Yes. Yes.
pigeons,
And
inside.
that's in the movie also. Like the pigeons and everything there.
Yes.
Yes. Mixed part
Yeah,
of
so
it.
I try to recollect
Yeah.
all this, but soon into the movie, there were crash zoom
Yeah.
effect,
Yeah. Yes.
on Kali's
Yeah. Yeah. I
tongue,
know.
I was like, what?
Yeah.
I literally jumped from my chair and I was watching like this, and then my father was holding my hand, so like, and, and then I was feeling a bit embarrassed,
Yeah.
and I sort of sat down in the chair and I couldn't believe, it was almost like much later on when I read about Lumiere brother, I realized, okay, I was not the only one who was scared,
Yeah. That was your
and
train
then,
experience. Like the
yeah, people
train
also
coming.
ran
Yeah.
out.
Yes. Yes.
So, after that, I think the remaining half of the movie, I remember I had to strain my neck because I almost ended up watching the
Yeah.
beam and the
Yeah.
projection booth. I was fascinated by the lights,
Yes.
and these were one of those non-air conditioned,
Yeah.
dusty,
With the fans and
pigeon-like
everything. Yes.
cinema
Yeah.
hall. Yeah, so the dust particles are really enhanced,
Yeah.
in the
In
beam
the
of the
light.
light.
Yes. Yeah.
These days in multiplex, we never see that,
Yeah.
But in those days, it's like a big beam going from there and hitting the screen,
Yeah.
Such small beam going larger and larger. And I say, what is inside that box, and why this beam and the colors and the colors used to dance in the beam. And I was
Yes.
just totally totally blown away, hypnotized, mesmerized, and a bit like in the movie, we took a train back to our village called Khijadia
Yeah.
Junction, where my father we used to live. And I had expressed my desire that I think you always was asking me, what will I do?
Yeah.
I want to do this.
Yeah. I want to go a bit back about this, and I want to ask you, you're telling a personal story. Okay, there is a lot of vulnerability which also comes, like when you're giving this story and you're presenting it to the world. Okay, there is also like how it will be received among people. Okay, how will the people see it? Like when you went through the process, like how did you did you have that in your mind? Ki, this film should work because this is a very personal story. This is I'm like exposing myself and everything. What was your
Not
thing
really.
when you're making it?
I think,
No?
yeah, whenever I make movie, for me the first important thing is that I must fall in love with the story and its characters. I've always made, because as a filmmaker, I'll end up spending several years of my life, and that also means I'm going to spend those several years with my lead characters,
Yeah,
the team and the crew. The crew moves on, but as a director, you
yeah,
prepare the movie, you shoot. So it's a long journey. So I want to really enjoy the process of filmmaking. So for me, the vital thing is first to fall in love with the story. And
yeah,
once I know that if I've fallen in love with the story, then I try to look for the style which is genuinely good for that story.
yeah.
So like when I made Angry Indian Goddesses or Samsara or Valley of Flowers or Last Film, so everything is very different.
Yes,
It's a
yes,
different treatment. So that's all I try to do. And then I believe, like every filmmaker, for me, the most important thing is that maximum people should watch my film. You know,
yeah, yeah,
for me, all these festivals and awards and Oscar and whatever are just the
yeah,
milestone.
yeah,
Whatever. So somehow, if people love your movie, that's great. I mean, that's what
yeah.
I would see, which filmmaker would be making movie with not wanting to. It's in its nature.
Yes, yes,
It's a
yes,
form of art form. That's why we have
yeah,
to show it. So, and of course, I'm
yeah,
pleased when my movie crosses, but I don't prepare that, it should be seen by the world. No, it can't work like that. Like
yeah,
sometimes movies like Angry Indian Goddesses, I thought this is so Indian film
yeah,
set in India among women. No one will want to watch maybe abroad, because a lot of people might not relate to it. Maybe, or they have done so many movies about their issues. Maybe in
yes,
India we have not done many. Sometimes the media called it first female buddy film from India and all,
yeah, yeah,
but I thought Italy and Spain must have done it.
yes,
But when it became very popular there, and we won audience award in Rome and in Toronto. So then you say,
yeah,
oh, okay, we were just trying to make a story of urban women Indian, but everyone
yes,
related to it. He said, oh,
yeah,
we have similar issues, of sexual harassment at work and the family pressure of getting married or having kids, or all that. So I think whenever we make a genuine story with honesty and integrity, I think they do become universal. And we have seen, all the movies we love from around the world.
yeah,
We love them because they are great story. We like maybe a movie like Seven Samurai from Japan or Bicycle Thieves from Italy. We don't say, oh, because it's made in Italian guy and filmmaker thought.
yeah,
No,
yeah. No,
just totally moved by the film. And then it
yes,
happens to be Japanese. It happens to be Italian. But
yes.
beyond all that, it's a great moving story which speaks to us, which moves us.
You grew up in like such a environment of like masala films and everything, and then you went to Baroda and you discovered world cinema. I want to know how was that shift? Like because masala films are like filled with songs and like all the action sequence and everything, and then you see a world cinema, then you see a Disika or anything like who are the directors you were watching, and how was that shift? Like how was that experience like? Like were you like
So yeah,
jarred?
I mean, yeah. So as a growing up as a kid, I never knew there was anything out there besides Indian popular
Yeah.
cinema. That's all I watched.
Yes.
Our big movie with song, dance, and over the
Yeah.
top acting and fighting, and I love, enjoy thoroughly, and even now.
Yeah. Yeah.
So when I reached Baroda for the first time, my
Yeah.
hostel mates, they were going to say, "हम English film देखने जा रहे हैं." So
Yeah.
it's an English film. I've not seen any. And my English was not that good, but I was thoroughly impressed. And I went and saw 2, 3 movies without knowing what they are about. And then I used to discuss with my roommates that it's strange, I mean, how do you enjoy this movie? They don't have songs.
Which movie did you see? Like, what was the first film you saw?
Well,
Like, as an
they
English.
were Western movies, like I think Towering Inferno, disaster movie,
Okay. Okay.
and one of the Western
Yeah.
Sergio Leone films, whatever
Yeah.
came there,
Yeah.
I mean, so I said like, wow, that's how can they have
Yeah.
movie? How can they make movie without song?
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
and that was unbelievable to me that you can actually tell a story without a song. And I
Yeah.
realized, oh, story works even without a song. People
Yeah.
can fall in love without a song. People can fall apart without a song. So that was the first revelation. And while going to when I went to NID, National Institute of Design, they used to have a film
Yeah.
club there. And I started running the film club, and that's where I started sort of programming for film club with other colleagues of mine, the students who were there. And we decided, okay, let's get the movie we want to see. So we will try and get French New Wave package. Then once we are done with that,
Yeah.
we'll get Japanese films, then we'll get Italian New Wave. So
Yeah.
they were just discovery of different type of filmmaking, as I was growing up. And while I was in Ahmedabad, I also bought a small camera from a flea market, hand crank camera, and
Yeah.
started shooting clips, and I shot some wedding videos to finance those clips. So,
Yeah.
and at the same time, you'll be shooting one total Gujarati
Yeah.
wedding video with and
Yes.
doing my clip, which is very experimental, like Maya Deren, and then watching the same evening you are watching Robert Bresson or or Ozu, and then next morning you say, Amitabh Bachchan ka naya picture laga rahe hain, chal jate hain. So it was a world. It was truly a world without any barrier and nobody fighting with each other. And I felt it was such a harmony, and we didn't
Yeah.
really care. We didn't judge. Oh, this is
Yeah.
pure entertainment. No masala film. We were entertained by that, and I was same time equally entertained by Stalker of Tarkovsky. So it
Yeah.
didn't really, yeah.
But your filmography doesn't have a masala film. Like, do you think about making like a proper Bollywood masala film because you have grown up with that? And like, do you have that in mind, or you want
See,
to?
as I said, I always have to fall in love with the story. I mean, and
Okay.
once I fall in love with the story, I'm totally happy to have songs. And I have written script which are full on high
Yeah.
voltage action. I'm working on. And there are also musical stories. It's
Yeah.
because they happen to be those stories.
Yeah.
And I feel that I don't want to just do a formulaic film. I need creative
Yeah.
partners who understand that story is very important. And if they
Yeah.
understand story, yes, it's a trend after pandemic and the way the world has gone through change. It is going to be very important for filmmaker like me to make movie either with a star or a studio or a streamer. One of
Yeah.
the S I'm going to need to tell my
Yeah.
S is my S for story.
Sorry. Yeah.
Yeah. So yes,
I
maybe yeah, in the
yeah.
future.
I was seeing the film, and this thing I kind of latch on to. There were like I think there are a lot of like I think you played a lot of homage to directors. Two scenes I remember. One is like when the train is passing from the field. I remember that is from I think Pathar Panchali. Okay, because there is a scene where the train is going and there is a field, and the
Yes.
other is when the light is on Samay's face, and that music from 2001: A Space Odyssey comes, like Stanley Kubrick.
Bang
Yeah, but
on.
yeah, but I want to know why these two directors? Like, it's like did they shape you? Like, did you like?
So
Was there a
I will.
reason?
I honestly I don't want to reveal because the whole film, last film show, Chhello show, is a summarized journey that how he
Yeah,
conquers his dream. But it's like Easter egg hunting situation.
yeah,
Okay,
yeah,
you can do multiple viewing and you will find
yeah,
lot more. Lot more.
yeah,
And all the film buffs will see lot more. But I didn't want it at the cost of disturbing or taking the audience out of the story. And
yeah,
also because I realized probably this is my first and last chance because the
yeah,
movie's plot is such where I can probably get away with it, by paying
yeah,
tribute to so many great filmmakers. I can't even list
yeah,
them. And,
yeah,
and they vary from, as I said, I can be equally entertained by Shah Rukh Khan and Amitabh
yeah,
Bachchan, superstar Rajnikant, and same time, in same breath, I'm saying Robert Bresson and
yes,
Ozu and
yeah,
Mizoguchi. because and that's what I love, the power of cinema, or experimental short films of Maya Deren. So in a way, I thought that okay, there is such a beautiful, simple story, and it is about light. And those people who have taught me, inspired me, all along my
Yeah.
life. So many different type of filmmakers. So in a way, gently, if I can weave in that tribute, be it a single image of just superstar Rajnikant or
Yeah.
so it almost runs like a subplot, but you need not catch that. Doesn't matter. If
Yeah.
you're a huge film buff, you can
Yeah.
really watch, the movie again, and say,
Yes.
okay, how many film are you going to spot? It's one of those great film spotting movies, for cinephiles.
The kid's name is Samay. Okay, that like when he says it, it like sort of like stood out for me. I want to know what was the thinking behind naming him Samay. Is it because of like how reels were going and digital cinema was coming? Was that in your mind?
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, for me, light and time were two big heart,
Okay.
the motor, the engine of this story.
Yeah.
The light and the time.
Yeah.
But then the moment you talk about light or time, straight away, one as a filmmaker becomes a bit pretentious or self-indulgent. So I struggle that how do I find, just
Yeah.
simpler human way without burdening with any kind of philosophical intent behind it,
Yeah.
So, and then this idea of samay, people should know, an idea of light, they know that because of the time, we as a filmmaker
Yeah.
are able to squeeze the time into 2 hour
Yeah.
or 3 hour movie. Cinema exists, through the play of the
Yes.
light. So we do have a story, like I did a movie called Valley of Flowers, which is the story starts in early 19th century, finishes in modern day Tokyo in Japan.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
200 years, and we squeeze that into 2.5 years, and how magical and wonderful that is. And that's thanks to the element of time and the light. So yes, I thought that this would be a pretty appropriate name for Samay to be, to be called Samay. And also, the famous filmmaker has called cinema is like Tarkovsky is called
Yeah.
sculpting
Yeah.
in time. It's called
Yeah.
sculpting in
Yes.
time. So I love that as well. Yeah.
I like there are a lot of films that were featured in last Chhello show. Like there are films from the 70s, 80s, like a lot of other films. But Jodha Akbar keeps on coming back. Okay, I
Yes.
saw like what was the decision behind it? Like to show Jodha Akbar, but is there a conscious decision that went behind it?
No, so almost every clip which you look in the movie, it was
Yeah.
almost like a subplot. It's a growth of
Yeah.
some. It's the
Okay.
Samay growing up and his friendship with Fazal.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it's a story of Fazal. And second thing is that Samay, whenever he goes to see cinema, he watches magnificence of Indian cinema, like songs and
Yes.
dance and
Yeah.
this amazing stars, Hrithik Roshan and Aishwarya Rai, and Ashutosh Gawariker has done this, lavish,
Yeah.
massive scale,
Yes.
and it's so different from his world where he lives in.
Yeah.
So it makes you dream, and it makes you,
Yeah.
there's a hero fighting with Hathi, and it has all these elements. So so for Samay, it's kind of a journey what he's watching. And the same time, for Fazal, there is his story, that
Yeah.
he actually, if he had a chance, like Samay, he would have run away. He would
Yes.
have also learned and leave, as his teacher said. He would have gone to Turkey and maybe doing,
Yeah. Yeah.
Sufi
It was
dancing.
Sufi. Yeah. Yes. Yes.
So that little subplot, which is also beautifully woven in Jodha Akbar, in a song and lyrics and all that. So it was pretty appropriate film. And there were these wonderful shots which I could intercut with, so there's a
Yeah.
moment when, Joda is putting a, bindi,
Yeah.
and
It
she
has been the yes.
and Samay, and
Yeah.
she sees
Yes.
Samay, and
Yes. Yes.
Samay is going, oh, she's looking at me, kind of a feeling. So it had this wonderful moment, and Asutosh went out of his way that we can use his movie, because these
Yeah.
days it's not very complicated. He went really out of his way and say like, good, that I'll be really happy that you can have. And every other clip from there on, which appears in
Yeah.
the film, is sort of to enhance their friendship. So there is a
Yeah.
moment when they dance, then there's a moment where everything is bit over the top, action,
Yeah.
fighting.
Yeah. Yeah.
So they were just chosen randomly, and then finally, by the time we reach towards the end, they have to figure out how to conquer the silence of in the cinema. So that was another kind of a clip, which again spoke of, where it allowed the kids to. Anyway, I don't want to give away too much, but anyway, all the
Okay.
movie clips are like a subplot. Every time, when things appear, the references to some of our superstar, they all play a little role.
On that note, thank you, Nalin, for speaking to me. Okay, it was a
Thank you for
great
having me.
pleasure. Best of luck for Oscars.
Thank you.
See
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you so much.